This episode is brought to you by Lumina Growth Lab. At Lumina, we help professional learning and development companies who are struggling with predictable lead flow, breaking out beyond their network, and a sniper approach to attracting the ideal clients so they can have a smoother sales process, finally have scalability, and ultimately take their business to the next level. Most of the time, our clients come to us frustrated because business has fundamentally changed since the pandemic and now the disruption of AI. But with the right strategy and support, they're able to confidently add new channels of lead generation, leading to a packed pipeline that creates sustainable revenue and year-over-year growth for cheaper than ever before because of the use of AI technologies. If that sounds like you or someone you know, connect with me on LinkedIn and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about unlocking your business's potential. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Marketing Matrix. I'm your host, Lisanne Murphy. Today, I am joined by the incredible and talented Oksana Matviichuk. Oksana, thank you so much for coming onto the show today.
Lisanne, thanks for having me.
Guys, I had the opportunity to meet Oksana recently, and her background is amazing. And the results that she gets clients is even more impressive. I'm really excited to have her open up her brain and her genius for us today on the podcast. So let me take a moment to introduce this powerhouse woman and then we'll get into it. So Oksana partners with leadership teams to adapt their business models to the AI age, ensuring they remain relevant, resilient, and sustainable. She's the founder and CEO of the WBENC certified OM Strategic Forecasting and a Forbes Agency Council member, 3-time Top Women Leaders of New York honoree by Women We Admire. So, and I just have to say, before I continue, I love having powerhouse women on the podcast. And I love that you put it front and center. You're like, I am a woman and I'm doing things that are big and it's important. And I love it. Oksana Designs.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for the intro. Absolutely. So I think that I was thinking about our episode today, and the thought came to me that AI will actually allow much more women to take the entrepreneurship path, because women are often doing a lot of things for the family, which goes unnoticed, like organizing all birthdays, parties, presents, and a lot of vacations. And I think that the AI actually allows you to unburden yourself for the most part of it. And I think that the women finally will have enough space for themselves to put their entrepreneurship vision into life.
I love that. So, and why do you, I love how you say that AI will unburden people. That's a really interesting term. Why, tell me more about that. What do you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that why as the humans, we stop doing things? Because we are exhausted and we are overloaded. So those are two major reasons. If we do things when we are when we don't have energy and everything, it brings us to the burnout fairly quickly. So I've been on this spiral journey quite a while. And now basically what AI gives you, it gives you kind of an extra capability for your brain not to keep everything in your head. So you really can upload it. And once you have, so I think that before that, systems of doing something, system of having the household in order, or a system of having your personal tasks, system of having your professional tasks in order, it all required another human to help us, personal assistants and everything. And now not everyone, first of all, not in every culture it's kind of acceptable, and not women on every level can afford a virtual assistant. So it would be an alien idea for many of us. And now you have AI and you can organize your system. So the things that I do monthly, weekly, and it will basically keep everything in mind instead of you. And you will have this mental capacity back and this energy back to actually be able to focus, because it's all about focus and distraction. So women oftentimes are distracted by so many things at home. Kids, partner, husband, parents. And now you have a counterpart who can take it and keep everything in order and basically remind you and propose you what you potentially can do with this and that, find a present or I don't know, book a trip, so things like that. And once we master it, and I understand that now there are people who are into it, like myself and the people who are still considering that. But I mean, once we master it, more or less, it will become like online shopping right now. So we don't have to go to the store, we just order home. So I think that that is why women finally will have more energy and more mental space to think about what they want to do, what kind of side hustle they may want to have first, and then how to turn it into the actual business.
I love that. I love that. So powerful. And it's such a great vision, right? And do you feel like it's kind of like what the washing machine and dishwasher
Yeah.
did, right?
Yeah,
Like instead of
absolutely.
women.
I think it's exactly what those two things did to us. And I think that like even still now, like my biggest satisfaction is when I load both machines and just I'm sitting and they're doing their own thing, and I'm like, oh my god, because I still remember how it used to be and how much time like our grandparents or grandmom spent it. So absolutely, I think that this is on one end, but it's much more. On one end, it really offloads you from the many things that you do. On the other end, be your support and can be your inspiration. So I'm not talking about using AI as a person or as a therapist. Unfortunately, this is not the things that I think we should be doing, but still like it kind of like can be your reminder, supportive and motivational reminder, like, hey, this is what you thought about like a month ago. How does it go? So, and I think that once you build a system of encouraging yourself in that end, or just to keeping the records of the things that you wanted, it really will do, because, like goals which you put in writing, they have like much more chances to become true. So this is another thing to put them in writing. And this is another thing to actually hear them back from time to time to make sure that you're on track. So in that sense, absolutely yes.
And do you work primarily with women-owned businesses or not necessarily?
Well, now, to be honest, so now I have like a balanced portfolio. So I am a part of the Entrepreneurs Network, and so this women entrepreneurship, they support women entrepreneurship a lot. And some of my clients are women-owned, but also like my main client is in the medical space. And so I'm very excited. Like he's a surgeon. I'm very excited like to work with him and with my team.
It's fantastic. Okay, so in what you do, you say that you design AI native business models. So for people that aren't familiar with that, what does that mean? What does it mean to be AI native?
Yeah, so I want to explain it through the evolution of technology. So something which is e-commerce was not possible until you had internet penetration everywhere. So this is technology which changed the business model from the grocery store into e-commerce store, from retail to e-commerce. And e-commerce became a showroom much more than the actual sales capacity, sales establishment. Then the next thing which happened was in Airbnb. Once we have so many mobile devices instantly connected to one network and able to share their location and their status, a two mobile native business model occurred where which were Uber and Airbnb, right? So this is where technology empowers new, absolutely new, like brand new way of interacting and bringing value. So what we have seen right now was that like starting with 2022 was the very beginning. I think the 2023, end of the 2023, we can consider as the beginning of adoption. And why adoption of AI? So first stage that we saw was that people in Silas, they were making some things with the help of AI, and they were sharing it with the team as their own outcome. So, and that was kind of what the 2023 was about. And that when we were saying that AI will not replace you, but the human with AI will. And then what happened in 2024 and 2025 was that we started to automate the things that we used to do manually with AI, like sales, for instance, sales. And what happened eventually was that the business process was created for humans. And when you push an AI power into it, what it does enlarges the bottlenecks, the amount of bottlenecks in the process. So for instance, you can do sales and you can do lead generation. For instance, if you're bringing 1,000 leads and your team can effectively operate with 100 leads, so basically what you are producing is 900 prospects disappointed because no one was able to reach them, right? So this is what happened when not AI native business model, but legacy business model, as I call them, like everything which is not AI based now is legacy business model. Legacy business model were automated. And I think why fast and sales and marketing were the first, and I think sales were the first because humans are trying to empower sales with every new technology. And what happened was that the actual business model, legacy business model, was behind. And if we take, I think, MIT research, they're saying that 95% of AI pilots didn't bring any revenue results. So this is huge. And basically what it shows is not that some company does it wrong. What it shows is the generic approach to automate certain pieces, even with the human in the loop, are not the right way to think about the AI native business model. So this is where I saw this opportunity because through my career, I saw how businesses transitioned to web. I saw how businesses transitioned to mobile and what new capabilities, what new value it brought to the businesses. So my initial thought was that AI will do the same. So we will talk a little bit more in detail about what AI business model is, but I want us just to understand the perspective and what it is not in the first place.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So based on my understanding, you can tell me if I missed a piece, but based on my understanding is that there's a very big difference between implementing a technology into an existing structure versus like completely redesigning the structure to have the backbone be the new technology, right? Like I like the example that you bring up, like with Uber and with Airbnb, right? Like it's complete, they're using technology in a completely new way to create completely new industries, right? And so is that what you're suggesting is like, it's like where the backbone is AI, not just like, here, use this AI to help you manage your inbox more effectively or whatever. Like that's not the type of solution that we're talking about.
No, absolutely. That's not the type of solution. So I think that when I just came to the United States, it was about 10 years ago, it was very agile, was very popular. So before that, it was project management, which is very like solid, comprehensive throughout approach to doing things. And then it was agile and it was, on absolutely opposite side of the scale when we basically were deciding what we are going to do on the spot immediately. And it was very chaotic. And I remember that for me, it was like a huge transition. And for a while, we've been living in this chaotic agile environment. And now what's happening is that systems, again, are the only way to go to empower yourself, your company, and your business model with AI. Because if you don't have a system, everything that you do, it can be more powerful, less powerful, but still it doesn't give you the result which you can get from the systematic ways of doing something. So everything compounds. And in that sense, when you're trying, so if you're managing your inbox faster and better, it's a great news. But if the things which are coming in your inbox are not ideal, like it doesn't really make sense, right?
Yeah. Okay. So are the people like, tell me about who your clients are. Like, are they startups that are like wanting to start from scratch? Are they like business arms and larger businesses that are wanting to like completely restructure how something is designed? Like who's taking advantage of this skill set?
So basically, this is startups because like every new Chat GPT kills about like 1,000 startups because startups are just packaging Chat GPT or any other LLM models in like, different packaging, right? So I think that now startups are benefiting the most, and like among my clients are mostly startups right now. So they're benefiting the most because first of all, they're much faster in terms of how they make decisions and how they react. So this flexibility really benefits them now. So one of my clients is an HR firm. It's a fractional HR firm. And the way me and the founder designed her services was that we basically divided them into two parts. So the technical part, which you need big HR team to handle, like benefits, a lot of tactical things, PDOs, things like that. But now it all can be automated, right? And then you clear the space the same way we talk about women, like we clear the space to actually go for the culture, for understanding which people do you need on the team right now in 6 months, in 12 months. So in that sense, it's one of the examples of an AI native business model, because you clearly understand what you can delegate. And inside this delegation, so there will be like an AI system which learns from the company policies, PTOs, and everything. So it's company specific and the rules, and it kind of operates only there, only in that realm. And then it basically gives like advice to the fractional and to the executive leadership of how you can grow. And for business and startups, it's really benefits, because typically what happens is the chaotic team grows and then you need to restructure it. And it's very costly decisions for them. So this is one of the examples of AI native business model.
Interesting. So is it primarily using generative AI for that, like since it's learning about the business, or is there a lot of agentic AI as well because these are being
It's a
passed from
combination
system to
of
system?
both. So I think that when we talk, like we started to talk about an AI native business model, so what it consists of. So the first thing that you need to have a very clear for yourself, for the team, for everyone, is the source of truth of the KPIs of your business. Because I mean, I've been in too many rooms with analytics where we are trying to identify like who will be the source of truth right now, right? So every business has, even a small one, or particularly a small one, has a very clear understanding of the KPIs. And this is the basics of starting any business model. So you understand your business, you understand what happens in your business and which KPI is changing. And you create this agentic system which looks precisely at your source of truth and at your KPIs, monitors your KPIs. So it's both agentic and generative. However, so basically the agent is taught on the company's HR policies and like all benefits policies and everything. And then each time you don't have like to think about like what I'm eligible for, and you can ask and get your decisions and plan accordingly.
That's amazing. Are there particular industries that you're leaning into to implement these?
Not really, because I mean, I've been in strategy for so many years and I work with so many industries and clients. And this is something that is industry agnostic, really. So first of all, I work with Fortune 500 companies that were clients of the top advertising agency I was a part of. So I do understand how the enterprises work. And before that, I worked with mid-sized companies. And basically every industry, when you're talking about growth, every industry strategically is very similar. So you understand whether industry is growing or declining, what are the key trends, and then you understand what are the growth points, so what really brings the value, or if the industry is declining, there are things which needs to be sunset, and the only thing that you're doing just to making it in an optimal way, so with as less cost as possible. So in that sense, I think that every industry can be structured in terms of where we go, what are the goals, what are the growing segments, what is our audience, new audience segments. So in that sense, I'm industry agnostic.
That's interesting. Do you have particular industries that you like you really enjoy working in med tech or in, I don't know, healthcare, or like what? Or
It's actually interesting. It's interesting question. I never thought about it. Well, I mean, I think that I like industries which are bringing something new to the table. So I think that I like innovation.
Mm.
and the idea of how innovation can unfold and change the environment.
Yeah.
So I think that that would be kind of like my first choice, because given like how many places I worked in and the fact that I immigrated and everything, so for me like novelty is very familiar and very new in a way. In that sense, I think that I'm very good steward when the company really is trying to make significant change.
Mm.
Significant changes would be the industry that I love the most.
Yeah. And how do you find the clients? Are they like, do you post social media and they find you? Are you seeking for startups? Then you approach them with an idea to build it with an AI
Yeah,
native business model? Like how do you find your clients?
yeah, so it's a healthy mix of both. Of course, like use social media, and a lot of clients are approaching me through social media. So LinkedIn did a great job for me in that sense. And I'm located in Boston, so I'm attending a lot of startup events. And Boston is rather small community in comparison with New York, for instance. And you can start with meet the same people in like fourth or fifth event,
Yeah.
and this is where there are a lot of like human connection. And of course, it's recommendations or references from the existing clients. So sometimes you just get a call and say, hey, someone recommended me to talk to you. And this is what my problem, how you can help me.
Yeah. So I love how you've taken your long-term experience and strategy and you're applying it with the new emerging technology, with AI. Where do you see this going for you? Like what are your goals with this business and what do you want to
Uh,
accomplish?
I see that nowadays a lot of things that business required investment for are not the case anymore. So what I'm like, my ideal business model is to have like to keep the human expertise, the human inspiration across like me, my partner, and then to have operations as much automated and systemized as possible. So in that sense, I think that solopreneurs who are personal brands themselves, they have much more capability. So we saw a lot of solopreneurs becoming primarily through social media. They would gain their audiences and then they monetize it through newsletters and digital courses, right? So now basically everyone with the right set of AI tools can become that solopreneur. And I think it's much more about developing internally this internal strengths, idea, and vision, how you show up for other people, and how to leverage AI to help you remove the technicalities of that process and focus on human connection. So this is kind of where I'm going with what I'm doing. And I think that even like I have a son, he's 21 and he's graduating from the college. And what's happening is that the knowledge becomes a commodity with the AI generative models. And for instance, the thing that I had to make this whole corporate journey to learn now are accessible to the people of this age, whoever wants to start a company. And in 21, you're much more passionate about it. You just have like more natural resources to do that. And you can do it in, I don't know, like 30 minutes. So you can have your website up and running. You can have your like name and then law thing. I mean, it will be basic, but it will be good for the start in comparison to even like I opened my company in 2022. So, and I do remember like the time and amount of like investments I needed to make to have it up and running, given that I was in the industry like for 20 years. So I knew like every step of it. So if
Uh-huh.
someone is not from marketing and advertising and operations, it really would take more. So this is kind of where I'm going with. I think that what I want to build an approach and a system, and I have my methodology for that, which first of all looks into the entrepreneur, the personality, the vision where he or she wants to go, and then already goes into the actual business numbers and sees what things are working, and then finding the way how to amplify them with an AI technology. So I want to bring companies to sustainable growth because like a lot of startups now that like first it's this stage where like you need to get your first client. Then you got your first client, then your next race is to get your revenue stabilized. and then something else. And then you have like overcapacity. So you typically sell more than you reasonably can deliver. So that's like the next stretch. And then the founder will be covering it with his or her expertise. So in that sense, the journey that I'm offering is vice versa. So it's slow is the fastest way forward, as we know, right? Is someone like very rightfully said. And the story about understanding what is acceptable for you as a founder, how you bring value to the community, to other humans, and like to yourself would be the first thing. And I think it will be the most important thing in the age of AI. And then helping you to build a system to avoid the pitfalls of growth, because now it's possible. Even 2 years ago, it was not possible. Now it's possible. So you can have your social media team like automated, basically. You can have a lot of media things automated, creative production automated. So it makes it accessible. It still very much requires human spark, human creativity. However, the scale of it is much less and it's much more affordable and doable for much more entrepreneurs. So this is kind of like where I'm going with
Hmm.
this.
That's exciting. I love it. If you feel open to sharing, like how do you structure your deals? Like are you paid like just like a normal like consultant fee, like type retainer, or like are you looking to like partner with businesses, and because you're building the infrastructure, you're looking for partnerships that can last for years as you build and grow, and you're taking equity or rev share, like how are you thinking about this since you're building the infrastructure of these startups?
Yeah, I'm mostly focused on the partnerships right now because it's a unique opportunity. Like, of course, the way it works, I charge the fee for the things that I do. And in addition to that, there is a partnership option if a client wants to keep me in any capacity for longer than the engagement lasts. So this is kind of the basic model I'm working with. And I think that um, I'm very much at that stage where I want to work with the people who think like me, share the same values. So that would be like the first thing that I would look at, deciding whether I'm working with clients, whether I can bring value to this client particularly. In terms of like more tactical things, so I have basically like three different types, three different offerings. So the first offering is AI workshops for the executive leadership teams. So this is the situation when the company understands that they need to do something already, they've done something, and they want to align, because alignment of the executive team is like the basic thing that needs to happen, and very often we miss that. So, and this is where the client has an opportunity to understand my style of work, and I can understand their challenges and their style of work, and we can see if like there is a fit for further development. Once the client decides to go with me further, then the second thing that we're going to do is my methodology, which is on strategy. So we go through all the cycle, we fix the business model, we understand how to make it AI native, and we are making it AI native. And then the third offering that I have is reputation management, because like now with all the tools, it's kind of, you cannot afford yourself to be silent anymore, because it was understandable you didn't have resources. Now you do have, like everyone has. So, and reputation management is one of the ways to bring the company to sustainable growth into objectives that we defined during creation of our AI native business model. So those are kind of like three things. The first product where we look at each other and see if it's working, then it's a big transformation when I'm a partner and I'm with the company. And then it's reputation management when the company already have everything set up and they have this capacity to bring the value to the world.
That's I love that. And it makes sense. It's a building process, right? Like one thing before the next. I love that. Well, it's so fascinating. I haven't spoken to anyone on the podcast yet that is really redefining how a business is structured from the ground up and leveraging AI to do so, and really working to find those companies that are going to be the next Uber and the next Airbnb in terms of like how they approach their business model. And so really exciting what you're doing. And I love that you're leaning into a world that is It is rapidly innovating and improving, and it really is the future, but I think it's scary for a lot of people. So it's so fun to see you just lean in and make it happen.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. So for people that want to get in touch with you, follow you, understand more about the work that you do with companies, how can people find you and get in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Oksana Matviichuk, and on Strategic Forecasting. This is the name of my company. So you can look at my website and book a call with me, and we will talk about how we can make your company AI native.
That's perfect. Guys, I'm going to put those links to her LinkedIn profile as well as her website so you can get access to that strategy call if you're interested. And I hope that you take her up on it. I mean, you're like seriously like one of the smartest people I've ever spoken to. It's really, really amazing. And I'm grateful to have you be a part of my network and to have you be a part of the Marketing Matrix community. So again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys, wherever you're listening from, thank you so much for tuning in, whether that's your car, kitchen, or Costco. We know that your time is valuable. And so for you to spend some time with us means the absolute world. So until next time on the Marketing Matrix.
Bye.